Hey, how's it going guys? My name's Daniel, aka HashLips, and welcome to the channel where I teach you about code. This particular video is a follow-up on the Create a Solana NFT collection on the devnet. If you want to know how to do everything beforehand, I highly recommend watching the previous video. If you already used to Solana and how to work the command line interface, this video will show you how to exactly do what we did in that video. But instead on the devnet, we are going to deploy an actual collection on the main network. This is going to be a way shorter video than the previous one, but in the previous video I explained the bulk of what you need to know regarding deployments on Solana. So go ahead and watch it. That video's name is Create NFT Collection Ultimate Guide devnet. I'll leave a link in the description. After you've watched it and you still get stuck, go ahead and join our Discord or Telegram channels. It's always good to become a part of this community. Let's dive in and see how we can now deploy on the main network on Solana. Just a quick recap, we need the HashLips Art Engine repo, especially version 1.0.8, so go ahead and download that. We also need the Metaplex repo so you can clone this code as well. And we also need the candy machine to create our dApp. But we've done this in the previous tutorial, so we have those three folders ready and set up, and we've changed the UI a little bit of the candy machine mintingdap. So I'm going to go ahead and just open those folders and make the necessary changes for the mainnet NFT deployment. Here is our three main folders, those main repos that we will need. So like before, we're going to open the HashLips Art Engine main to generate our NFT collection. Now I am doing this again because I want to change the address that needs to accept the royalties to a new address that I'm going to generate on this machine. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to say open, going to go to desktop, Solana, and open the HashLips Art Engine. I am going to keep everything exactly the same as the previous video. The only thing I need to change is this wallet address. I want to change it to the wallet address that I am going to generate now, because previously I've generated addresses on this machine, but I have exposed the key phrases, which is not good and a security risk. So this time I need to open the terminal so that we can run a new command. Currently, if I type in Solana, you can see that there's all the commands that I can run. I can also type in Solana address, and then I can see this is my current address. But like I mentioned, I've generated this hard wallet on this machine, and in the previous video I exposed the key secret phrase, which I have to now regenerate. Let me show you how you can regenerate a new key pair and save it safely, which I will on a later stage then take off the machine so it's even more secure for myself. I am not going to expose the key phrases this time. This time I'm going to keep it secret because that's my wallet address that I'm actually going to fund with money from my live wallet. Let's just jump back to the Metaplex docs so I can show you how we can set up Solana's configuration. So here we set it for the devnet like before. So if I open any terminal or any command line, like I said, this is how you can do it in the command line. If we type in Solana config and then get, what will happen is I see that I am pointing to the devnet, and this is generated, and this is my old key pair which I would like to now regenerate. But the first step is to switch your environment, this environment, to the main network. So let's go ahead and do that. In your terminal over here or in Visual Studio over here, you can do this. You don't have to be on the Metaplex repo in order to communicate with the Solana CLI. I'm going to do it in my normal terminal. Let's keep the docs open and go over there. We can see that we can type in this phrase, and I'm going to copy and paste this, but this time I'm going to change it. Instead of devnet, I am going to type in mainnet-beta. So I'm going to say this is going to be the API, and then this is going to be the main mainnet-beta, like so. And just make sure you type in mainnet. Then I'm going to hit enter. Your URL should now be pointing to the mainnet-beta. How do I know what to type? Well, if I go to the Solana cluster docs, I can see that we've got the devnet, and here are all the configurations that I can run for the devnet. And if I want to do the testnet, I can do the testnet. And if I want to do the mainnet, then I have to enter this command that we've just entered. Now, how you know it's configured correctly, like I mentioned, is if your RPC URL changes to main network. We still need a new key pair. This one automatically updates, like I mentioned. So now let's generate a new key pair that I can keep safe on my computer. To generate that key pair again, remember I've got to run this command. Now, this part here, even though it says devnet, this is simply the JSON file name, so you can call it anything. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, go to my terminal, and run it here below. But this time, instead of calling this devnet.json, I am going to call this HashLips and then dash mainnet. And that is going to be my key pair file. Now keep in mind, after I generate this, it's going to create for me that key phrase, which I have to go and save. I will not be able to show you this, but keep in mind, if you do this, please save that information in a safe place. After that command has run successfully, you'll get something that looks kind of like a bunch of lines with words and your public key as well as your location of your key pair. What I then do is I create a info file like so, and I paste in that information over here. There are some extra information that I've excluded for this tutorial series, and I'm also going to move my key pair off this machine after this tutorial. But that being said, this is very important. The next step that I want to do is actually point this machine to use this key pair. Let's see how we can do that. Well, in the terminal, let's go and open the documentation. The next thing we can run is this command. This is Solana set, and then the key pair we're going to set as this. So I'm going to copy that line, go to the terminal, paste that in there, go to my place where I've saved the location, and in the terminal, add it to the end. When I click enter, you'll see that it's now configured to point to the main network. It's main network on the RPC, and it has my main network path of my key pair. This is a good point to basically hook this up to your cloud wallet, if I can put it like that. So what I like to do next is go into my Phantom wallet and actually go and import that wallet. All you need to import it is basically your key pair. So I'm going to log into my Phantom wallet, and then when I go over here, you can click add and connect wallet. Click on import private key, and then you're going to locate that file and import it into this wallet. So click on import private key and give this a name. I'm going to call this my HashLips main. And then I'm going to paste the private key over here that you'll find in the .json file. I can now say import, and I can see that there is my address. I can verify that it ends with a YAVP. So if I go to Visual Studio, there is my public key and it is correct. So you need to go to this path, copy the contents, and import it into your Phantom wallet. At this point, it's a good idea to also switch over to the main network beta so that we can see all of our wallets. I don't really want these test wallets here anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and remove them. So to remove a wallet, you click on the wallet you want to remove, go to settings, go all the way down and click on remove wallet. The only two ones I now have is my main one and the HashLips main one. At this point, it's a very good idea to go and send some SOL to this main address. I have some Sol in this account, so I'm going to say send, click on Sol, and I want to say this is my recipient address and then the amount. I think 0.1 or 0.2 would be enough to launch this collection. But let's just be safe and put 0.3. I'm going to say next and send. This will be transacting and sending to this wallet. What would be very cool now is if we can see the balance that we've sent to this wallet that's on our local machine. So if I type in Solana and then address, right, I can see that this is the address that's on my machine. But if I type Solana and balance, then I should be able to get the balance, which is now 0.3 Sol. This is on the main network, and that is enough to deploy our collection. So let's go do the rest of the steps. Let's now jump back to Visual Studio Code and copy this public key that I've just sent the Sol to. I'm going to replace it with my address over here for the creators, and then I want to make sure that I update the rest of the info. Seeing that this is a collection all about eyes, I'm going to call it the Seeing Eyes, or the Seeing Eye. And here I'm going to just, where it says remember to replace the description, I'm going to type and say this eye sees all, right? And that seems cool. And for the symbol, it's going to be SE, and I am happy with my base fee of 2.5%. This share should be 100%. And once you've set everything up like this, remember, if you want to learn how to use the HashLips art engine, go and watch the previous video. But all I need to do now is run npm run generate. Once I do that, I will see that my build is successful and I have got my images and my JSON. It is now time to go and replace the assets in the Metaplex repo. So now that we have the artworks and the JSON, we can simply go ahead and do the same that we did the last time. We're going to create a new folder, call it assets, like so, and then we're going to open the HashLips build file where all of our images sits. We're going to take everything and drag it into the assets folder, as well as all of our JSON. Don't pull in the underscore metadata JSON file. Now that we have done that, we can see that our assets have all of our files. We can now go ahead and drag the assets in the Metaplex. It's going to ask us to replace it, and I want to replace it. Before we go and open Metaplex, I have my info file here as well. So I'm just going to copy this. Then I'm going to say file open and go to my Metaplex. Now that we are in the Metaplex repo, go and click on the info file that we've created from the previous tutorial. Go ahead and paste what we've just copied, and you will see something like this that we've been creating together. So you might not have this if you haven't created this, but these commands are the ones that's needed to upload our collection. This is the upload, create candy machine, and update candy machine's price for our collection and the start date. Go ahead and write these in your info file right now by pausing the video. I'm also going to scroll to the end so you see everything. These commands will also be in this video's description for you to use. If you are making use of the same repo that you did in the devnet tutorial series, then you don't have to set anything up apart from clearing this cache that we tested with. So I'm going to delete the cache file and then go ahead and run the first command. Before I do, I need to go and replace my keypair file everywhere where it says path. So over there, over here, as well as here at the bottom. Now I'm going to run the first command, which basically will set up the assets and upload them to the decentralized storage. This process checks now the assets image and it checks its JSON. It will also create this .cache file, which we will use later. For now, it's just going to check and verify if everything is healthy while it's uploading it. to the cloud. Next, we are going to run the create candy machine line. This will set up Candy Machine and its configurations. It will also give us then the Candy Machine ID, which we are going to use. We don't have to save any of these important keys because they are saved inside the .cache file. Let's wait for this all to upload before running the next command. Awesome, we can see that this was now successful. Now we can go ahead and run this command and this will set up Candy Machine. Remember to make sure that you are on the dev network, on the main network, and not the dev network. So for all of these, this will ensure that we upload this to the main network, as well as your Solana CLI needs to be configured to the main network like we've done in the beginning of this tutorial. This will only take a second, and once it's done, we can go ahead and update our Candy Machine variables. We are going to update the price as well as the start date. I am going to choose a prior start date to today so that I can start minting immediately. I'm also going to make my NFTs super cheap because I want to be able to mint them all. I can see that Candy Machine has successfully ran, and now it's time to run the last command. Let me copy, paste, and hit enter. And that command ran successfully. We can now see that the timestamp as well as the price was updated. We can go and verify this by going to our browser, then clicking on Phantom Wallet. Make sure that you are logged in. After logging in, go to your wallet that we deployed this from, go to the transactions and click on this very last one. This will take you to the Solana Explorer. While this loads, I am going to, however, copy this transaction and go and paste it in the Sol scan. This is a way better scanner for me. So I'm going to paste the transaction and hit search. You'll be able to see here it was successfully updated. There we can see the price is now that, as well as our go live date. Great! All we have to do now is set up the mintingdap. Remember, that is a simple process. All we have to do is go to this .cache file and go and copy a few variables. I'm going to hit Command S to save this file. I've set up Visual Studio to organize JSON like this for me. Basically what you'll need is this config. So I'm going to copy and paste it here in my info. Then I need to go back and all the way to the bottom copy these three variables down here. The one you can see is the config. We have the authority, the Candy Machine address, and the start date. I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to open Candy Machine. So I'm going to click File, Open, Solana, Candy Machine. We have altered this Candy Machine instance in our previous tutorial, so if you want to see how to get the UI looking kind of like this, you can go ahead and do so. Remember, the only thing we need to change is in this .env file. So let's go and paste our variables down here. We are going to put the configuration here at the top for the config. The authority is basically this treasury wallet. Then the Candy Machine ID is the Candy Machine ID, and then our start date. Once we have that, we can remove that, we can say save, and now we need to update this. The only part that we have to update as well here is the network. So we're going to say this is on the mainnet-beta, and we're going to put the same for here in the API call. So the mainnet-beta. There we go. Now we can hit save. I can also run yarn start. This is after installing the dependencies. Remember, we are working from the previous tutorial. I like to mention that so that you know exactly what we are doing at all times. This is going to start up a instance now, and here we can see it. I can now go ahead and click connect to Phantom and then say confirm. There's my wallet. I can see my wallet balance in here. and the supply is 0 out of 10. If I now go ahead and click on mint, it's going to ask me to mint one. I'm going to say go ahead and do so. We can wait for this transaction to finish, but we can also go ahead and go to Phantom and check here, and it is already successful. This means that our NFT on the mainnet is now mine and should be here. Let's wait for it and see. So it's loading something, it's definitely there, but we just have to load for the image to basically load. It says here that the mint was successful, so maybe it only went through now. Let me go and first check out the transaction by clicking on that successful transfer over there. If I go and copy the signature, again I can go to Sol Scan, paste it in there and search for it. There we go. I can now see that this indeed transferred that NFT to my wallet. How cool is that? Like I shown before, what I can also do is go to my wallet address. So I can click on Phantom, copy my wallet, go and paste it in here. And then because this is now pointing on the main network, let's just make sure this is main network. I can see there's my token. I can also click on it and have a lot more information on this token. Here we can see it is the seeing eye and it is token 0. Now the image is not loading, and it might be just because it's still loading the metadata. And there we go. After refreshing, I can see it. I can also see this if I go to my Phantom wallet and click on my NFT section down here. So this should pop it up and I can open it, I can send it. It has all the attributes that it needs. It's amazing. And there we can even see the external URL that goes to my YouTube page. Now, like I said, if you leave a comment in this video, I will select someone to give an eye to, which is pretty cool. There's only 10 of them. I am going to go ahead now and mint the rest. When we get back to our dApp, we can see that the supply indeed is now 1 out of 10. I can go ahead and mint all 10 and then send them to a lot of fans, which is pretty cool. The last part of this tutorial is, however, not ending with this section. You still need to build this to go and host it on a hosting service, maybe a Linux or a GitHub page, or even on IPFS, whatever you want to choose. In order to do that, what you'll need to do is cancel the execution, and then you say yarn build. By doing this, you are telling this program Candy Machine to give you a build that you can upload on a server to host as a static web page. Once it's done, you will find all the build files in this folder. And there we go, it is complete. So when you go to your file system and you go to Candy Machine, go to the build folder, this is all the contents that you need. You can basically go, right click, compress, or create a zip file and upload this to any hosted service. Once you do that, people will be able to go to your instance of Candy Machine and mint your token. And that's how simple it is. I truly hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for the 14,000 subscribers that's following this channel and learning more about code every day with me. If you want to watch the previous video, like I said, in depth, you can go and watch this one. It says create a Solana NFT collection, the ultimate guide. I've uploaded this just an hour ago and it's already having 300 views. That's pretty good for my channel. I hope it reaches thousands so that everyone knows how to do this process. By the way, if you get stuck, you can always go to our website and join our Discord or Telegram page. There's a lot of devs that's willing to help. Till the next video, cheers for now.